But what would be the number one enemy to futurism, Phil?
Age.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I definitely think it's in the incentives and in the curiosity.
Yeah.
Right?
Incentives,
If you're not willing to ask questions and you're not defining what you mean by the future in the first place, you're gonna run around in this circle, you know, and of not really figuring out like where are the opportunities for my business to go, where are the opportunities for my people to feel like they're part of this process. And, you know, so much of how we have defined this has been in this classical sense of ego that permeates throughout organizations. And it takes effort and a reprogramming to take yourself out of that. So I think those are the threats, right? That not every new shiny thing means that it's future facing, right? Like I've done talks on this where I'm like, some of the things that are going to make our future better are things from the past that we already know. There's this idea of knowledge acquisition that's always new.
Yeah.
Whereas I think there's existing knowledge that's just been put on the shelf, right? That's like
for too long.
Yeah, that we say like, oh, you know, that's not relevant anymore. And I would make the argument that it's very relevant, right? Like a company like Patagonia, for example, having things built into the company DNA as simple as, you know, a community feeling of children being engaged in the company, you know, childcare being a normalized part of the way they build their business. Childcare exists within the framework of the company. It's not this outside thing that happens. To me, that's very much like how I grew up, you know, where I had this extended family, right? It takes a village, right? And to take that idea of community living and bring it into an organization, they're trying to grow less, not grow more. And I think most companies, when they're thinking about innovation in the future, those are not the things they're thinking about. They're thinking about some shiny bauble.
True.
And my concept of that is it can be that, but it shouldn't exclusively be that.
It's not necessarily innovation in that regard. It's the actual use. I mean, this is what I always say as an argument as well, and that is that, look, Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon was the first one that came out on the 45. You know, great, big, fantastic. Then it came in 8-track, then cassette, CD, MP3. Each time it came out in a new medium, it made a shitload of money.
Yeah.
You know, but that does not say the music changed.
No.
Music never changed.
But music is
It's
constant.
the delivery music.
Yeah.
So futurism is also a delivery mechanism. It's not that the music is changing. It's not that the song is changing. Business is really not changing. It's the delivery mechanism.
Yeah.
Another example of that is like, okay, commuting to work every day. Well, that was one way of delivering the work, the music that we're talking about for business. Now it's telecommuting. I don't need to. I got the technology. I can stay at home and deliver. I'm still
Wherever
delivering.
there's Wi-Fi, you can work.
I can still deliver the units that would be the music. It's just the delivery mechanisms change.
Yeah.
The next level from telecommuting, what could be the next level? Well, now it's going to be adding humanistic skills to it from a different perspective or a different, you know, source or, you know, technology.
Even organizations are evolving from just being an organization from a dry business to a humanized business where there's a lot of sense to it other than just making money. And as you guys know, one of the major problems of futurism is because it's tied down to what? To bottom line. Why? Bottom line, instantly, okay, I'm going to embrace change. I'm going to go into this futuristic project. Then when am I going to see my returns? That kind of mindset is not a mindset for futurism.
Absolutely not. The mindset for futurism has got to be like completely, let me give you a good example that comes to my mind here. The mindset for futurism should be kind of like, okay, I'm driving a car, I'm already getting there. I'm just a bad example maybe, but I was like, I've got a wet t-shirt. Well, maybe I can utilize the effort of this car moving and hang my t-shirt out and dry it at the same time. Is that going to prevent my driving the car, the functioning of the existing operation that I'm doing? No. But it's going to take the existing force or whatever that I'm producing from that effort, and I'm going to do something else with it.
Yeah.
Now, that kind of stuff has got to be allowed. It's got to be looked at as it, like, if, let's say, bad example again, but let's say the t-shirt flies off. Well, it's a mistake you learned, but you did it anyway.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of reinforcement that has to be given from the CEOs. Isolate a core team outside of the existing structure. Let them have at it with whatever services and products that you're having. Explore. Be autonomous. Answer directly to you. And support their failure. The more they fail means the more your business has a running chance of continuing forward. because you've identified areas of disruptive nature.
Yeah.
You've taken your own team to try to autonomously go at it and see if it works or not. So you have a secure sense of knowledge, information, and experience rather than being caught off guard.
True.
Agreed.
So you addressed the mindset. So what age would you say a CEO or a leader on top should be in today's company?
I honestly
if
think
you want to embrace futurism.
I honestly think CEOs, I mean, if we look at it in the traditional sense, I honestly think CEOs should be plus 35, 40. I mean, traditionally. Even more even. I mean, I'm going to throw myself in. I'm at 50. I can offer a lot, a lot more. But that CEO has got to have embraced the younger generation's ability and understanding.
Yes. So it's not
Otherwise,
the age. It's not the age. It's how this person is embracing the current trends.
Yeah. Because I think from our generation, especially, I think we're all at the table at the same generation here. There's one thing that I think we're bringing to the table that I see a lot of times lacking when you look at it from the cold, hard face of just employment and so forth. It's millennials. They got great, quick, adaptive skills. They can take technology. They can use apps. They can put things together like Lego and create. That's fantastic. But it's like you were saying earlier. Where are the soft skills?
Yeah.
That comes with age. That comes with being beaten, thrown down, having traveled the world, seen all types of different people. You start to create a method of communication that can exist at any level. That you cannot do that when you're 19, 20. You can't do that till you're barely 30. At that point, you're just at that point of just understanding.
Yeah, that's important.
And you cannot build on a knowledge-based economy and diversify a whole entire economy unless you work on the soft skills first.
Yeah. It took me years to realize that those things were important.
But the biggest asset today, even with technology, as we spoke earlier, whether if it's in the Middle East, Europe, or America, the biggest asset to futurism is soft skills.
Yeah.
You don't have soft
even
skills.
The
just open up soft skills.
rebranding of the soft skills.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
So you guys go ahead and give me an idea of what you consider soft skills.
Creativity is soft skills.
Creativity.
Negotiation is soft skills.
Addressing, management. I mean, being able to discuss things with issues and problems or communicate with the customers. Frontline people to even upline people.
Even a speaker is a soft skill.
Yeah. And again, fighting back
It's
against
intangible. That's the
the
problem with soft
soft skills
skills.
piece, right? Like that's why I use tangible and intangible,
Yeah.
right? Because I think having gone through a traditional MBA program, and I love Duke, but when I came into that program, it was very much in that split, right? You were a finance consulting quant person, or you were like a marketing kind of touchy-feely or
Sticky or gooey.
Yeah, what have you. And looking back on it now, I could say that that's the wrong framework, right? Because the class that I took at Duke that was centered in understanding people and understanding bias and how that affects organizations, I always say is the most important class that I took. It wasn't the deep financial modeling, all that kind of stuff. Like that was great to know as a skill, but that's the difference. Like a skill can be either acquired at any point in your life, or you can pay someone for that skill, right? Like
which
I
is
could
what
pay someone to
futurism
do
is actually
discounted cash
attaching,
flows.
is that most of those things are going to become automated. Like I was saying. So consider yourself to take the automated, to deploy it or commission it when you need it.
But what we all do is soft skills. And what we sell every day is soft skills.
Yeah. But
Either the education of it or the...
I'm selling the power of intangibility. I refuse to link the language of soft, right? Because that still has loaded terms, right? And I think, and also
but again, that's how you position yourself.
Yeah, but the way in which we even think about those things.
So it's kind of like this. Hard skills are going to be automated with future, so they're going to actually become soft skills. And soft skills are actually not ever going to be able to be automated. They're going to be hard skills.
Or they're going to become obsolete.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
With technology.
As a piece of what's relevant. And that goes a ton into thinking about how we look at stuff, right? Like, so someone being creative, like, that's one of the hardest things that someone can do, right? Like,
or even sell it.
Yeah, the ability to imagine something and create something where there was nothing before. That's one of the hardest things that someone can do, and to have that relegated to this idea of being soft or not, I think is actually something that's worth pushing back against.
No,
right? Because it values the way in which we frame all of our work, and what's actually really important, and that's critical.
And that's going to be the end, I think, in the practice. Human nature is never going to change. It's always going to be the same in that regard.
Yep.
And so you're always going to have to interact. You're always going to have to deal with them as distant as technology might be looking like it's taking us. Oops, that's fine. So as much as technology might be taking us, they're always going to be the human element. Mm-hmm. So the more and more we're staying in touch, and the more people we can train to be able to take the human nature and element, apply it to that day's current technology, and be happy and not be like jobless or disruptive in your own emotional sense because you don't make money. That's where that key comes from.
Mm-hmm. Yes. For a closure, what would you say to our audience on futurism? That we shared a lot of different ideas today. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. But knowing that the battle, which is the problem, the mindset and the fear.
Yeah.
What would you say? I mean, it's something I've constantly faced because I'm a futuristic person. So I'm always constantly faced this, especially with my clients in the Middle East.
I mean, as a direct one-to-one action plan kind of thing, it'd be, first of all, take a look and take an inventory of yourself, your ability. I mean, we're talking at the top level CEO, obviously. Yes. So first of all, take a look at the way you're actually performing your business. Are you on autopilot?
Yeah.
Are you on the CEO train that's, cozy position, I just got to go in and come, answer to the board, and, this is a cake job, legacy company, it's been around for 20, 30 years, I'm going to make my money. If you're in that position and you think that's the case, you're the most open to being, taken down off that pedestal.
For sure.
In a heartbeat. Let's say if you're the kind that's been like that and you're, noticing the change and you want to change yourself, I think the first thing you need to do is look at the organization from the bottom up. Take a look at your lowest leveled employee, if you want to call it, and look at the lowest level facilitating job that's being done. Those are the ones that technology is going to replace. Now, if you, as an exercise to a CEO, this is a great exercise actually, if you can go into your organization and look at the lowest level position, the one that's the most mundane facilitating task that most likely technology is going to replace. And if you can take that person and find him a position in the organization based on his experience doing that task, remedial task, then you're forward thinking.
Yes.
Does it make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
So, but if 100%. You're looking at it as like, okay, that guy's job's done, I'm not going to have a place for him because it's not job, then you're not forward thinking because you're just going to create that turmoil within the company because nobody wants to lose their job in a sense.
Yes.
As much as they might not be aware of it, that guy is going to want to be, want a higher value. So if you can take that person as a CEO, that person is the lowest person in the company that's just a mundane job, take what he's done and turn it around and somehow add value without him actually doing that and having it replaced by technology, you're on the right track.
Guys, thank you so much.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next.